Welcome back to another episode of the Casey Campbell podcast. Casey Campbell with you, of course. Pleased to be joined by Josh Bilicki, who's come on a lot this year. The driver of the number 77 Chevrolet for Spire Motorsports this weekend, the NASCAR Cup Series, who will be at Kansas Speedway. Josh, how's it going, man?
Good. Thank you for having me. It's been a fun year so far.
Yeah, it has been. Of course, you've gotten to do a lot of fun stuff. You got to do some Cup stuff with Spire, and then some Xfinity stuff with a bunch of teams, mostly with Alpha Prime Racing. Overall, how do you think your year is going?
Yeah, so it started out really good, running for DGM Racing at Daytona. Carved out a top 10 there, which is arguably the Xfinity Series' biggest race of the year. So that was cool. And then the first Cup start came at Auto Club with Spire Motorsports. So we've had some pretty successful runs in the Cup Series so far. Some not so great. The last two, Dover in a backup car, and then Martinsville before that, we just kind of struggled with pace. But it's a lot about learning these cars. The next gen car, it's tough to be in and out of the car. So for me to run one weekend and then to be off another weekend and then jump back in the Cup Series, that's been really tough. So we've had some good results in the Cup Series. Really looking at Coda and Atlanta. And we're going to Kansas this weekend, where I've had some good runs in the Cup Series before. So hopefully we have a good run.
So looking at Kansas this weekend, which is not far from you, of course, as many know, you don't live in Charlotte. You live up in Wisconsin, which is not a far place from Kansas, up in the Midwest. Not too far away from that either. But overall, going to Kansas this weekend, what does it take to get around a place like that?
Yeah, so Kansas is unique because it's not a follow the leader type track. It gives you options, and it's going to be probably pretty warm this weekend. At least here in Wisconsin, it went from 40, 50 degrees last week to 90 degrees. So it just jumped. And I think Kansas is going to be around the same thing. It's going to be hot. It's going to create a pretty slick track. You're going to see a lot of guys move around. So I think that's pretty good for the racing. Kansas is your typical mile and a half. It's one of the easier mile and a halves, in my opinion. It's not very bumpy. It does give you different line options. So like I said, I've had good runs there in the past. Really looking at 2020, we had a top 25 there. We went back in fall with Tommy Baldwin Racing and ran really fast, but we had a mechanical problem. It's been a track that's been good to me. And I'm just excited to get back in the next gen car and kind of keep learning the car and working with Spire Motorsports.
Yeah, for sure. So how many races do you have left with this team?
I can't even really tell you that right now, because we're adding races kind of to the schedule as we go. We definitely have at least a good amount, at least 10 left. More than that, actually, probably 12 to 15 left so far. So quite a few, and there's some opportunity to add some more races. And that's kind of what my day-to-day schedule looks like. A lot of the marketing side, business side, just handling the relationship with Ziegler, but also trying to bring new partners in. And Ziegler's been really inclined to help me bringing some of their vendors on board. So we're going to have some pretty cool things that we're going to be announcing in the next couple of weeks, maybe the next couple of months, but we're always working to add some more races to my schedule, whether it's Cup, Xfinity, or trucks. Spire has their truck, which I really would love to get behind the wheel, but obviously it takes some sponsorship dollars. So that's something I've been actively working on as well.
Yeah. So how many, and also if you don't mind, how many Xfinity races do you have left scheduled with Alpha Prime, or if there's any?
Kind of the same boat. We have quite a few left. The next one for me will be Road America. I can't really tell you how many, because there probably will be some added Xfinity races as well. So this year is kind of just running as many races as I can. We know we're not full time, so I'm not going to be at the track every single weekend, but I can tell you I'll be at the track most of the weekends.
Yeah. So I really, it's going to be this is a season where, you've come from, part-time stuff, and then you ran full-time last year. And now you're racing more. Are you racing more now than this is the most you've raced so far in your career?
It's not, actually. Last year, full-time in the Cup Series, running all 38 Cup races, as well as probably 5 to 6 Xfinity races. Actually, last year I ran, I think, 7 or 8 Xfinity races. So last year I raced a lot. 2020, even though we had COVID, I was in the Cup car a lot. I was in the Xfinity car a lot and the truck a lot. So I think 2020 I ran upwards of 40 to 45 races. Last year, probably around the same, being a Cup. So this year probably won't hit that number. This year, probably completely honest, probably 35 to 40 races between Xfinity and Cup. But like I said, there's some opportunity to add some more races. So it's going to be, it's important for me to be behind the wheel, whether it's truck, Xfinity, or Cup. But it's also important to me this year to kind of stay behind the wheel of competitive cars. I'm not going to just go drive a car that's going to be a 35th Xfinity car. Alpha Prime's a good example. They're a top 20 team now, and top 20 team in the Xfinity series this year is competitive. I mean, 5 years ago, Alpha Prime they had the budget and the resources they had right now, they definitely would have been a playoff caliber team. So just like Cup, Xfinity series, all the teams and the competitiveness it's just beat the last couple of years. This year it's very, very competitive. So it's important that the races I do run, they're competitive.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, overall, if you look at Cup, Xfinity, and trucks, the competitiveness in each series has gone all the way up. So
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, going into this this next weekend, when you look at what to expect with this season, with the 77 team, you've had some good runs, as you said, but not so other good runs. But what makes this weekend a big opportunity for you guys to really kind of come out and take it from?
Yeah, so they had a good run at Darlington, obviously. There was a lot of attrition in that race, but Landon stayed behind it, and they finished only one lap down. So I think that was a good run for them, and it was good to build some confidence back in the team. Kansas, like I said, it's a mile and a half, but we've been to multiple mile and a half so far. Maybe not multiple, but we've been to mile and a half so far, and a couple of tracks kind of very similar that we can definitely learn from. So for me, it's my second mile and a half in the Cup Series this year. I can go back to study and study from Las Vegas. I can go back and watch Landon's, his SMT and data from Darlington, which is a track that kind of like Kansas requires downforce, different type of track, but it's not like you're comparing a short track to a mile and a half. Both kind of are intermediate types tracks. So I think that's what we have to our advantage. We have some notes that we can lean on from the last couple of races. The first two races of the year for me in Cup were Auto Club and then Las Vegas. And to go to one of the hardest tracks, Auto Club, with a brand new crew chief, brand new car, it's definitely a tough combo. So we have notes, how I want the car driving. Kevin kind of knows what I like, what I don't like, what works with this car. And that's kind of what we have to our advantage this week going to Kansas.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, let me ask you about Darlington last week. I know that you ran a throwback scheme to, of course, Bill Elliott's. But people forget that Bill Elliott ran the Burger King car back in the mid 2000s. I remember when I was, I don't know, we're around the same age, I think, but 25, 26. Do you remember when you went into Burger King, when you noticed the old BK car, when Elliott was driving, you got it at Burger King? Because I remember that.
I honestly, I don't remember that car. I will give it to Insurance King, because Insurance King, that was their idea. They are incredibly creative. But that car was their design, their idea. Actually, Hershey Designs, he's the one that he designed that car and presented it to Insurance King. So I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, the car looked phenomenal on track. It was a fast car too, so it was a fun weekend.
I like, also they got the Insurance King logo inside the Burger King logo.
Yep.
I don't think that's the current Burger King logo that they're using, but
it was the logo that they used when they ran that car in, I think, 2007.
Yeah, I forgot about that because I forgot Burger King changed logos. But yeah, it's that was a cool car to run last week. Yeah, we'll see from there. But going into this weekend at Kansas, look forward to seeing you on there. But Josh Bilicki, thank you so much for coming on. We'll talk to you again sometime later this year.
Sounds good. Thank you, Casey.